Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about purging and getting ready for our slow travel life.
It was a 5-year process that took us from a 4-bedroom house to a 2-bedroom condo to then carry-on luggage. It was a process.
Welcome back. As we said, we're going to talk about our purge process. And we had a pretty spacious 4-bedroom house that allowed us to collect a lot of things.
Things actually meant for me a garage full of Christmas decorations that I loved every year, changing up the color scheme, the patterns, to along with hosting things. I loved to host big Christmas parties and Easter parties. So that was all in the garage. But in the house, every closet was filled, every drawer was filled, and you'd open it up and go, oh my gosh, this is just too much stuff.
No doubt. And then there was my tech room, my quote-unquote office. I had servers, several monitors, I think I had 4, and a TV at the same time, as well as several computers and a server. I just had a lot of stuff in there.
And not to mention 5 bins of cords.
Cables.
Cables.
I have to have cables for every use. And I never threw them out because you never know when you're going to need it. And you always need it as soon as you throw it out.
Or at least he thought. He was proved right a couple of times, but we won't go there.
So let's be brutally honest. Did we really need 20 coffee mugs anymore? Or all those bins of cables as Kim talked about? I don't know.
But using those coffee mugs as an example, those coffee mugs had memories.
Absolutely.
From the time that we went to New York to see Phantom of the Opera, to the New York coffee mug, to the Diamondbacks coffee mug. So each of them generated a memory. So obviously we held on to them for all those times. But then it became a time of, that's not going to be our life any longer. We're not going to be traveling with coffee mugs. We're going to be traveling with carry-on, so that's not going to work. So I had this aha moment of just a few months before I decided to digitize all of our photos. And then in that process, like, wow, I could take a photo of this item and have that photo pop up in the digital frame and generate that same memory and not take up space. So
yeah, that works pretty well. Watching the digital frame is always kind of fun to just go through the memories, especially when the people pop up more than the things, but it's fun.
It was fun. And we'd be sitting there watching television and look over and find a pet of ours doing something silly or a memento that my mom had given us. So it gave us great joy. And not only did it give us great joy, we've now taken it on the road. While we've not taken the digital frame on the road, we now have all those photos that we can just pull up in the laptop and go through the same slideshow presentation. So that's my solution on mementos. Take a picture of it and put it in with your photos.
So how about selling and donating stuff?
So donating, we donated to several different charities, and I can't tell you how many carloads of stuff. And we had an SUV, so it wasn't just a tiny car, it was your standard SUV. I just can't, I want to say 50, maybe 100 times when I went to the various locations.
It certainly felt like it.
And, but the thing that did give me some joy is that I was able to give things of importance. And for me, as I mentioned earlier, Christmas. Christmas was a big thing for me. So I was able to give Christmas decorations and hosting items to friends and family. So I knew that it was going to people that would be using it and enjoying it. And therefore, it just made me feel good that I didn't have to worry about trying to sell it and or it was going to a good home.
Right. Well, how about the clothing, though?
Yeah, the clothing was a bit of a challenge because, you know, you accumulate clothes over years, and We had your typical walk-in closet, his and her side, and we stuffed it with clothes. But as we were talking about this, the ultimate goal was to carry on 2 personal items and everything fit in there. We didn't quite make that. We have 1 checked item, but as we travel, that's getting smaller and smaller. So the goal had always been, let's follow the warmth, so our climate is springtime, summertime clothes, and then prepare for potential, rain and or, if things get chilly. So you simply layer up. And it was amazing. I was sharing with a friend it's amazing. You go in your closet and you probably go to the same 5 to 8 tops. You don't really rotate those around. So it was easy to scale down once you realize these are the clothes that I wear no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. Also, when we do happen to hit a colder climate, we can always go to Goodwill and buy a jacket, a heavier coat, or gloves, something of that nature, and then donate them back at that point when we're done with them, when we move on.
Yeah, excellent point. I've forgotten about that.
So, downsizing and moving to the new condo from the 4-bedroom house.
So there was many times that I would turn to Doug before we started on this journey of, gosh, we only live about half of this house, from our bedroom to our bathroom, living room, and kitchen. Oh, and then I did forget about, you did have an office that you used all the time. So a little bit over than half. But in reality, we didn't need that size of a place any longer. So we opted to purchase a 2-bedroom condo. And that allowed us to help on our journey by being debt-free.
Properly boozed and debt-free.
We'll talk about that more later.
Yeah, it was kind of fun when people would come over and they'd like, oh, show me around the new place. I'm like, it's 900 square feet. But here, stand in the center. All the doors are open. Turn your head to the left, turn your head to the right. Okay, you've seen it all. It was kind of small, but at the same time, it served all the purposes we needed.
Yep, it met our needs. We had a guest bedroom with a full ensuite, so we could have people stay over. And we made good use of the space. So it was good for us to downsize.
Although we did get into storage wars, we didn't quite downsize entirely to the 900 square feet. We had to rent a storage pod for about a year, I think we did. But we quickly realized that we didn't use any of the stuff that we put in storage. So after a year, we ended up purging that out as well and moving on.
Yeah, it was the smallest unit that I could get, a 5x5. We almost filled it, and yet to your point, about once a quarter we went over to get something, but even that we didn't really use it. So if anything I could stress, save money, don't store.
Yeah, no need for that. The final purge, getting down to the minimal.
That was a big stressor, honestly, from trying to sell the remaining items, donate remaining items. And the big stressor for me is we had a leather sofa that I put up for sale for about 10% of its value. Mm-hmm. And I could not give that thing away. So much, and it was not about the money. It was just I had value on this sofa, this leather sofa and ottomans. And in the end, a friend of a friend just came in and hauled it away, and that was it. Close that. How?
Yeah, I struggled a lot with departing with things. The value of them from what I purchased to what I had to get rid of it at.
Pennies on the dollar, Jesse.
Was troubling to me. And it wasn't so much that a used value is obviously less than the new value of something, but it was that once I set a price of maybe 25% of the new value purchase price, somebody would come in and offer me another, can you take $5 less? I'd be like, come on, dude. But hey, I too got over this. And in the end, it's so freeing to get rid of everything. It really has been. It's been nice that we just don't have any more possessions other than our 2 bins.
Oh, I forgot to mention, yes, we do have 2 bins left, and primarily one bin is filled with my travel ornament. So any country or city that we travel to, I always pick up an ornament. And eventually when we are in our slow years, put up a Christmas tree, and that will be a great reminder of all of our adventures. So I have 1 bin of Christmas stuff and then 1 bin of other truly sentimental things that we just couldn't let go of. So we've got 2 bins. Right now they're stored at my brother's garage, and I truly thank him for that.
Swedish Death Cleaning. It's kind of a new concept to some of you out there. But I'm going to read you a definition from Google, of all places. Taking responsibility for one's possessions and simplifying life. It's a method that encourages individuals to evaluate their belongings and let go of items they no longer serve a purpose or bring joy to them. It's really nice to be able to get rid of everything and not have it hanging over our head, and knowing that if I have it, I'm going to use it.
And not only that, but we're no longer a burden when we pass away, that our estate, we're not burdening anyone to deal with our stuff. And my mother passed a few years ago, and my mom loved her stuff. She had tons of collectibles, Swarovskis, Department 56 jewelry, can't even tell you the amount. And she loved being surrounded by her stuff. So I get that, it gave her comfort. But after her passing, and it was important for her stuff to be sold at the appropriate price. And sadly, it just didn't happen, because in the end, what her value and what someone else's value of that item were 2 different things. And she would have been heartbroken if she knew how much we sold her items for. So in the end, at least for myself, the Swedish Death Cleanse is really meant to not be a burden on others, and that we've taken responsibility. We only have X amount of things.
Pretty well said. So now we have a new beginning, just traveling the world and taking the things we need with us.
It's been quite the journey. As I said, we started 5 years, but now we're there. And it is so freeing and so comfortable to only have the things that we need.
Absolutely. Do us a favor and leave us a comment about your purging process. Have you gone through it? Is it something that's on your mind or not? And also, if you enjoyed this video, please give us a like. It's important for the YouTube algorithm. And we will see you again the next time. Thank you.